I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the DnF Duel roster that we got so far. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Mr. and welcome to my first full-length YouTube video that I've honestly done for a good little while now. This is actually my first YouTube video as a full-time content creator. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So let me give you all a quick explanation on how I'm going to be rating this roster. As most of y'all know, DnF Duel pulls its source material from DNF, or as it was called in America, Dungeon Fighter Online, which is this like multiplayer beat 'em up dungeon crawler MMO light, right? And in that game, as you can see right here, there's all these base classes like, male slayer, female slayer, or what have you. But the characters that are in the fighting game DnF Duel are actually subclasses to these base classes. So the first character that was shown to us was Berserker, a subclass for, male slayer. So how I'm going to be rating this roster is, was the subclass that was picked to represent that base class the best possible or coolest option out of all available subclasses? Because realistically, all of these base classes are mostly going to get 1 rep, some might get 2. I played DFO for years when the game first came out back when I was a teenager, and every few years I come back to check it out. So I already know all these subclasses, so I'm not going to show all of them in exact detail, but let's go ahead and get things started with Male Slayer, right? So Male Slayer, it has Berserker and Ghostblade already in the game. Were these two the best choices? Now all the classes are Blade Master, a warrior who trains to control his ghost-possessed arm. You got Soulbender and you got Ashura, right? Berserker is very iconic, right? I understand that one being in the game. I understand it had to be in the game, so that one I'm not mad at. Ghostblade, after playing it, is really cool. It's really cool. And here's the thing, let me show y'all Ashura, because this is the one I wanted to be in the game. It has these waves. It's a martial type of character. It uses its sword to fight, but the Ashura is blinded and it actually uses these like mystical, magical based waves to fight. And look at how sick all this looks. And look, insanely dope, right? Bam. So that is the character that I wanted to be selected as a representation for Male Slayer, but after playing Ghostblade, I'm really not mad at it. So I'll honestly say for Male Slayer, Berserker, and Ghostblade are fine. Those are the proper choices and I'm not mad at them. So Male Slayer is alright as it is. Next up is Female Slayer. Now I'm hoping she is actually in the game, but let's look through all of her subclasses and pick what I think would be the best possible choice for her if she was included in the game. So we got Swordmaster, Demon Slayer looks awesome, Vagabond, Dark Templar, and Spectre. And out of all these, Vagabond seems the coolest for me to be in DnF Duel if she makes it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. She has that lightsaber, it's just so cool. She has all these light-based abilities. She's fast. Everything this character does is awesome, man. I especially love that little stabbing, the repeated stab she does, and those light-based projectiles come out. It's awesome. Yeah, check this out. That easily could be her, her super in the game. So yeah, that is Female Slayer. The next best choice, if they don't do Vagabond, what else would I be cool with? Probably Demon Slayer. Yeah, check that out, man. Just tons of power in those attacks. Yeah, super cool. Really visceral. But I feel like Berserker already kind of feels a lot of the niche that this character does. So my choice for Female Slayer is going to be Vagabond if she makes it into the game. I'm hoping she does. But if it's any of those other threes, I feel like it was a mixed opportunity. Next up, we got Female Fighter. And the choice for Female Fighter already is Striker, which in my opinion is probably the most vanilla choice they could have went with. But at least I understand it, because for those of y'all that played DFO way back in the day, Striker, Female Striker is just the most iconic. Like, it's super iconic. It's super iconic from the game, so I understand this being the choice for Female Striker. But let's look through all of them, right? Female Striker has Nen Master, Brawler, and Grappler. And just look at that design, bro. Just look at this character design. So my choice for female fighter would have been Grappler. I understand Striker's inclusion, and it's not a bad choice. It is very vanilla, but they did a great job with the character, and it's not a bad inclusion. But if we could get another rep, I would have wanted Grappler. Now, we already have male Grappler, but I'll tell you later on what I think male fighter should have been. But for female fighter, oh, definitely should have been Grappler. Let me show y'all. Let's take a look. She's super wrestly, man. She has the belt and the microphone. She's got primary Lotus, bro. Just look at this character, bro. Look at that. This character is amazing. This character is absolutely insane. And I think it's this version of Grappler is just way cooler than male Grappler. Check out the super. Even the announcer even screams, "Oh my God!" So this is the easy pick for me. Yeah, Striker is all right, but I don't think it's the best possible choice you could have gotten. At least for me personally, I understand the choice, but the best possible one would have been female Grappler. Let's move on. Next up, male fighter. I personally was super hyped for this base class when it first got put into this game years ago. But let's take a look at all the possible choices for male fighter. You got Nen Master. It's actually the same as the female fighter, which isn't always the case, but in this case it is. Nen Master, Striker, Brawler, and Grappler, right? So we already have Grappler for the male fighter, but I don't think that this was the best choice, given that female fighter's Grappler is just so much cooler. But this one's a tie right here. This one's a tie. So the one I would have won, I think would have been the best choice, is male Striker. Take a look. It does have some punches, but it is primarily a kick-based class. I mean, just look at how cool this is, bro. Oh, just the kicks and like I said, has some punches. Oh man, just all the special effects. He has a Tatsumaki, bro. Just everything about the male fighter, the male Striker, is insane. But a close second for me is the Brawler, because he fights dirty. Take a look. You know, he throws nails, throws poison clouds out, you know what I mean? Uses chains to fight. It's this fighter that will literally use any tactic to win. It isn't as cool to me as the male Striker, but this would have been my second choice. Looks great. Male Gunner. This is a very similar story to female fighter, where they picked the Ranger, which makes sense. It's what you think of when you think of male Gunner. Ranger is what pops into all the old school DFO players' heads, right? So I understand this choice, but I do not think it is the coolest. Let me show you what I think is the coolest. But first, let's look at all of them, right? We got Launcher, which is like, you know, the artillery guy, uses these heavy firearms. You got the Mechanic, and then you got the Spitfire. So out of all these, what I personally think would have been the best choice for male Gunner is the Mechanic. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It has all these turrets it summons, it has little robots, it has mechs with rockets that come out of its shoulders, bro. This would be amazing in DnF Duel. Again, I understand why Ranger was picked for how iconic it is, but man, I feel like Mechanic was such a waste opportunity. If another class does get 2 representatives, Mechanic would be nice. Mechanic would be nice. So yeah, to me, best choice for male Gunner easily would have been Mechanic. Let's move on. Now, female Gunner isn't in the game yet, but I have a strong feeling that she's going to make it in. I think 14 of these base classes are all going to have at least one character in the game. At least I think so. But female Gunner isn't in yet. But let's take a look at what my pick would be if she does make it into the game. So out of female Gunner, we have Ranger, Launcher, Mechanic, Spitfire, right? And out of all of these, my choice for who would have been the best inclusion is a Spitfire. Let me show you what I'm talking about. She has this really dope jetpack and just rains all these elemental grenades and shoots in the air at people, bro. And this could be a really glass cannon, really risk versus reward type of character, because in DnF Duel, you can't block in the air. So she could have all this reward for getting in the air, using the jetpack, and then throwing out these attacks, but she has no defense in the air. So I really think if female Gunner's included, I feel like Spitfire is a no-brainer. Just look at this. Just tons of grenades. Just lets it, you know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, best choice possible for female Gunner, easily Spitfire. Male Mage. Okay, Male Mage wasn't the first Mage. Female Mage was first, and then many years later, we eventually got Male Mage. But Male Mage, or Female Mage for that matter of fact, aren't in the game yet. But if they do make it to the game, let's take a look at what I think will be the best inclusion. You got Elemental Bomber, Glacial Master, Blood Mage, Swift Master, and Dimension Walker, right? In my opinion, best inclusion. I have a runner-up, but best inclusion would be Glacial Master. Just because this is the first one I played when Male Mage first came out. Has these cool ice blades, these ice spikes come out. One of my favorite abilities of it. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, it comes up right here, I think. It has this, it throws out those ice shards, and it has the ice bow. Both of those are really cool abilities. It has ice tornadoes. Now again, a lot of his attacks do look samey. So I understand if he doesn't make it in, I do understand. But still, I think it would just be the dopest inclusion. Now my runner-up is Swift Master. Just look at that design. Just look at the design. Like, do I need to say anything else? This is my second runner-up. Let's take a look at its gameplay. Very fast, lots of tornadoes. Not as flashy. In my opinion, out of all the male mages, this is the least flashy of them all. But it's still really cool. It's still really cool. Look at that. Really sick. Really sick. All that sick. So yeah, for me, you know, Swift Master would have been my runner-up. So Swift Master or Glacial Master mixed in, I ain't gonna be mad. So Female Mage. Female Mage actually came out first. There was only, you know, the Mage, and it was the Female Mage, and Male Mage came many years later. But all of its subclasses are Elementalist, Summoner, Battle Mage, Witch, and then you have Enchantress. Now, out of all of these, right? Battle Mage obviously makes sense because it's a fighting game, you know, what have you. My favorite, because it was the very first class I played in DFO when the game first came out, was Summoner. This was the first subclass I ever played. I loved it. This is my favorite, but it doesn't really make sense in DFO. In DnF Duel. In DnF Duel right now doesn't really have a joke character or like a goofy, silly character. So I think a no-brainer, the best possible choice for this game is going to be Witch. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Very silly, very, you know, playful. She's going to be one of those characters that when the game first comes out, everyone's like, yo, what is this character's moves, bro? What is this character doing? People will figure it out eventually how to fight her, but at launch, dude, it's going to be such a mess to fight this character, but that's part of the fun, you know what I mean? It's just goofy, has all these wacky moves, you know, summons jack-o'-lanterns that spew magma. It's just funny. It's just fun, goofy, and cool. This one's a no-brainer since there isn't already a kind of lighthearted, goofy character in this game. I feel like this one is the best possible choice for Female Mage. And it has this like roller coaster type thing for its super. It'd be super cool. Male Priest. I played Male Priest when it first came out, when the game first came out. And let's take a look at all of its subclasses. You have Crusader, Monk, Exorcist, and Avenger. Let me do that one more time so I can get a better look at them. Crusader, Monk, Exorcist, and Avenger. Obviously, we have Crusader. Crusader is the stereotypical priest. You know, this is quintessential, it's iconic, and this is what made it into the game. I don't think it's the best choice. I don't think it's the best choice or coolest possible choice at all for a roster slot in DnF Duel. Out of all these, I only really have one choice that I think would translate well, and it's the Monk. Come on, it's a boxer, it's the Monk. Let me show y'all. He's super fast, he just darts around and punches stuff, like literally. Just lightning jack. He's on his Steve Fox time right now, right? Obviously, it may not be as flashy as some of the other classes in the game. He does that running around like he's, you know, the Flash or something like that and punches in a circle. But it's still really cool. It's still really cool to just have this boxer-esque, you know, Dudley, Balrog, you know, what have you, boxer character just throwing out these punches and being awesome. Just look at it. It fits DnF Duel. At least it fits DnF Duel, in my opinion, better than the Crusader does. The Crusader is awesome. The implementation they already have for it is crazy. It has a totem pole. A Monk has a totem pole that it throws down to give itself a buff. Crusader's cool. This would have been cooler, at least to me. Female priest. I have not made a female priest at all yet, but the one, let's take a look at all these. Obviously, the one we have in the game already is Inquisitor, but is that or was that the best possible choice we could have got out of all these subclasses? So we got Crusader, Inquisitor, the one we have now, which is sick. Inquisitor is sick. Shaman, and Mistress. Out of all these, for me, it's Mistress. Like, I've never played a female priest, but out of all these, this one just on the surface level seemed the coolest. You know, she has these, you know, fallen angel-esque wings. If they incorporate that design into the actual fighting game. All these dark slashes, but she's still really quick. She has this big scythe, but she's still super fast with it. Dark tendrils, has this whole, you know, dark priest type of vibe to it, and it's just sick. You got the dark rose petals. It just all looks really cool. Inquisitor is very flashy with its kind of flame type feel to it. So Inquisitor is not a bad choice in my opinion. The second best. I think Mistress would have been better. Inquisitor is the second best choice though. So I'm not mad at it, but definitely I hope maybe somewhere in the line Mistress makes it in. Next up is a Thief. I played a Thief when it first came out. When Thief was first introduced into DFO, I did make a Thief, and the classes for Thief are Rogue, Necromancer, Kunoichi, which is what we have in the game already, and Shadow Dancer. So is Kunoichi the best choice? Yes, I feel that way. I honestly feel that Kunoichi, even if it's not my favorite out of all of these, Kunoichi is the best choice. For Thief as a whole. Now, a runner-up, who else I would not have been mad if it was introduced into the game. I like Necromancer. Necromancer is what I played, is what I made when Thief was first introduced. But to me, Rogue just makes more sense, and I'll show you why. For DnF Duel, Rogue would have been a great introduction. It would have been my runner-up. So Kunoichi was the best choice, but Rogue would have also been great. It has this whole lightning fast theme to it. It's like Killua, you know what I'm saying? She's just all over the place. She darts around the battlefield. Just look at how fast her attacks are compared to other character trailers we've seen. I mean, bro, she's all over the place, man. She literally can't be stopped, bro. Just look at this. Look at this speed, bro. Kunoichi is very fast in DnF Duel. Very fast, has probably the best mobility in the game so far. But this is just ridiculous, bro. This is just insane. I would be down for Rogue. Totally be down for Rogue. Look at this character, bro. It doesn't even make sense. She's literally out here opening gates, bro. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, Rogue was my second best choice. But I'm not mad at Kunoichi at all. It's a great addition. You know, has a whole, you know, ninja vibe to it. Kunoichi was the best choice for Thief. Knight. Knight did make it into the game. I remember when Knight first came out, I actually played Chaos. I actually made a Chaos Knight. But Knight did make it into the game, and as you know, Knight is Dragon Knight. That is the version of the Knight we have. But was that the best choice for the Knight as a base class overall in DnF Duel as a roster slot? Let's look at all the subclasses. We got Elven Knight, Chaos, Lightbringer, and Dragon Knight. So I do think that Dragon Knight is the best possible choice. Despite, like I said, I did make a Chaos. When this base class first got introduced into DFO. I still think Dragon Knight is the best and coolest possible choice. The execution that they made with this character in DnF Duel is just sick. But my second runner-up would have actually been Elven Knight, a subclass I never played, but after looking at its gameplay, I'm like, oh, we don't have a nature-esque type of character in DnF Duel, so this would have been a really cool choice. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It has this really cool mechanic where it has to chain its attacks together. You see how it has that bar? I think that would be sick. If they could find a way to implement that kind of timing tactic into DnF Duel, it'd be super sick. Just look at it. It has all this nature effects. Like I said, there's nothing like this in DnF Duel yet. So it would have been super cool. Dragon Knight is still very unique. I still think Dragon Knight was their best possible choice, but it is insanely close with Elven Knight. On a different day, I might say Elven Knight would have been the best possible choice, but as of right now, I'm cool with Dragon Knight. Demonic Lancer. I remember when this guy first made it into DFO. I'm not the biggest fan of spear users in fantasy games, period, but it's still a very cool base class and some really cool subclasses. Let's take a look at all of its subclasses. So you got Vanguard, which has made it into the game. That's a roster slot for Demonic Lancer. I'm highly doubtful we'll get 2 Demonic Lancers, but as of right now, it's Vanguard, Skirmisher, Dragoon, and Impaler, right? So I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. Vanguard is the worst possible choice they could have made for Demonic Lancer. Demonic Lancer came out later in DFO's life cycle, so it's not an iconic class by any means. So for this non-iconic class, there wasn't a specific subclass that they had to pick, right? Like, you know, female striker. That's not the case with this base class. And out of all the subclasses, they, in my opinion, picked the most vanilla out of all these subclasses. Vanguard isn't bad, and the implementation in DnF Duel is great. They made it really cool. But out of all these subclasses, Vanguard is the worst possible choice. Now, to me, the best choice is Dragoon. I'll show y'all why. But my second best choice, I'll also show you a little bit, is Impaler. If it was either of these two, I wouldn't mind. I mean, just look at how awesome Impaler's design is. Just look at that. But Dragoon, based on gameplay and fighting, is my choice. Let me show y'all. It has, Dragoon has these lances that float behind him that he uses and calls on. So it's just really cool. You see how he like throws out those lances and these portals open up. It's just a really cool class. It has, I like the whole theme of having these lances that serve you and follow you. It's very flashy, and I think if they put this in DnF Duel, they would have made it look disgusting. Just look at that. So to me, it's a no-brainer that this is 10 times cooler than, you know, Vanguard that we got. But let's take a look at Impaler. Like I said, second best choice in my opinion. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Very similar to Dragoon, but dark themed, essentially. It's pretty similar. You know, a lot of these dark lances being thrown out. It does have its differences. It's more heavy, I feel like, with its attacks. And this right here is what convinced me it would be the second best option. Just look at that. And also, it's design. You know, his design. Impaler's design, insane, insane. But overall, best choice for Vanguard would have been Dragoon. Lastly, we got Agent. I'm not going to do Dark Knight and Creator because these are like limited time classes. These aren't like, these don't even have subclasses. If I'm recalling correctly, these don't even have subclasses. You can't even make one of these characters all the time throughout the year. They're like limited access characters you can only make sometime. So the last one is going to be Agent. And out of Agent, we got Hitman. I believe what we got is Hitman, right? But there's Secret Agent, Troubleshooter, Hitman, and Specialist, right? This Agent came out much later, very similar to Vanguard. He came out much later. So this character doesn't have, hey, you know, you gotta pick Secret Agent because it's what everyone thinks of when they think Agent. That's not the case for this class and subclass type deal here. So, out of all these, was Hitman the best choice? Let's take a look. So out of all these, was Hitman the best choice? In my opinion, no. It's the second worst, behind Secret Agent. Really, it's like Hitman and Secret Agent are tied for worst. Troubleshooter would have been cool, but to me, the obvious winner is Specialist because he has this sword that uses core energy. It's basically like this huge ass lightsaber. It's the coolest class gameplay wise and my subclass gameplay wise out of all these. Just look for yourself. Look at that. Bam, just this massive ass energy sword lightsaber type deal. Look at it. It makes these like core energy type cages. Super flashy. Definitely more flashy than Hitman is. Now Hitman's implementation for how I don't really find the character very cool in DFO. How they did him in DnF Duel, he turned out great. He turned out great. Just not what I think Specialist would have just turned out better. Look at this, bro. Oh my god. On like Black Clover Asta type. You know what I'm saying? Super cool. So to me, the best possible Hitman we could have got, Specialist. Those are my thoughts, man. Thank you all for sticking it out with me, taking a look at this kind of review, critique, or rating of the roster. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to stay locked in for future videos I got in the channel. Be easy.